Hello and welcome back to Swinging at Shins, a Premier League podcast from across the pond. I'm in a great mood because I've been able to have my windows open for 3 days straight, which is a March Northern New York record, upstate New York record, however you want to say it.
That's my March Madness.
Yeah, that is March Madness. That is great March Madness. I'm also in a great mood because I just bought tickets to watch the Arsenal play at Audi Field on July 19th. Love pre-sales. They're phenomenal. I'm also in a great mood because the Albany Gooners went official.
Hell yeah.
Last Thursday.
Love it.
We are a branch. We're still not on the map on the website, which bothers me, but we've been posted about on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. So that's as real as life gets. I'm pretty sure people announce presidential nominations on Twitter now. So
yeah.
I am also ecstatic because Arsenal are 8 points clear at the top of the table.
I have to put up two hands.
You do. I love two hands. I can't wait till I have to help. Two of your hands and then maybe even two of mine. In fairness to City, that was because City was busy playing an FA Cup. Losers. Who cares about the FA Cup? We do. We care about the FA Cup. We've won it 14 times. But they were busy playing an FA Cup. So City now have a game in hand, but Arsenal have won, which puts more pressure on City. And 8 points to stare at over the international break is a beautiful thing. On top of that, 12th to 20th has now gotten even tighter. 4 points. There are double the amount of points between one of the tightest title races we've seen in a while than there are from 12th to 20th. Helped in large part by Arsenal getting revenge on Crystal Palace for sacking Patrick Viera. He isn't invincible. You respect.
Shame.
Yeah, right. Leeds secured a massive 3 points.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those, it feels like every team in that 12 to 20 takes a turn getting a big win every week so that they're always right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is. But still, it was over Wolves. That's a big win.
Everyone's considering they're right there, and Wolves could have gained just that much more. They would have hopped into 12th.
What wasn't a win, but definitely felt like a win, was James Ward-Prowse pen in the 90-plus minute in stoppage time against Spurs. So double love it. On top of that, Antonio Conte did his best to get fired in the post-game presser.
We'll talk about it more, but I kind of feel his pain.
I don't understand how you couldn't feel his pain. Like, take the memes aside. Take the lads at Tottenham aside. No one goes. Jose Mourinho wins everywhere he goes. He couldn't win a trophy there.
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Conte wins everywhere he goes. And I don't know if he's going to see the end of the week, much less the end of the season.
Much less
and
the end of the day, bro. They
can't win a trophy this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be a trophyless season for a lot of very good teams. I'm not going to say, another one for Spurs, but the regression, when you see what Newcastle's done, when you see what Arsenal's done, when you see the money Chelsea's put out, Eric Ten Hag has got Manchester United in the right trajectory.
Yep.
And Spurs have to be sitting here going, hey, we missed our window.
We forgot about us.
Villa's on the up and up too.
Yeah, they are. Love that.
I'm not willing to put you in the challenging Spurs yet, although, boy, would I love that.
Me too.
Speaking of Villa, handled Bournemouth with ease. Bournemouth played the game of their life against Arsenal.
Yep.
They get a 1-0 win against Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
And then Villa smacked them upside the head. It honestly should have been by more.
What? Yeah, probably. It was like a 3.5 XG. That's how. But if you're Gary O'Neill, he has, no idea what game he was watching.
So it is a 3.66 XG. We'll get a little bit more into the game later. Something I think that's worth noting is if you have a pen, which you should have had, that XG goes even higher. So yes, I think it should have been by more. Moving on, Leicester, big point against Brentford. Brentford is in a drawing mood lately. They draw everybody, good teams, bad teams, middle teams, we draw them. Chelsea continue to score 2 more goals And it's still a 2-2 draw to Everton.
Yep. You know, it's sad.
I don't know.
It's funny. It's sad and funny.
It is. I mean, it's always funny to me.
But it's sad and funny.
I don't even know if it's sad.
A little
Can we get into something that actually is sad?
Sure, hit me.
The latest sacking. I do not like that Patrick Viera is no longer at Crystal Palace. That's how I want to start the podcast.
Just on a somber note.
In memoriam.
Well, that's not true. You started it very high. Now you're bringing it way back.
Yeah. Well, I know, but you have to love Patrick Viera. You have to love Patrick Viera if you're an Arsenal fan. Or a fan of just no-nonsense midfielders.
That's true. It's not something that wasn't out of the realm of possibilities considering the record that they've put forward in 2023. Typically, we see this.
That's such a cherry pick, though. They won on New Year's Eve.
Stop it.
That's such a cherry pick.
I don't care. Then they should have won on New Year's Day. They should have played on New Year's Day.
On New Year's Day. Yeah, they should have played on New Year's Day.
But it's hard as a manager or even a club owner actually, to try to. That's probably where this push is. A club owner to try to say, yeah, we got this coach. Keep backing him, and you haven't won. You've been drawing and losing, and right now they have actually lost 4 straight. So, I mean, that doesn't help that they played quality teams.
I was going to say, now you brought it up, not me, but I'm going to jump into it. Since December 31st, they have played Tottenham, 4-0 loss, a 2-1 loss to Southampton in the FA Cup, a 1-0 loss to Chelsea. They drew Man United. They drew Newcastle, a 2-1 loss to Man United, a 1-1 draw to Brighton, a 1-1 draw to Brentford, a 0-0 draw to Liverpool, 1-0 loss to Villa. Villa's beating everybody. 1-0 loss to Man City, 1-0 loss to Brighton.
And then a 4. Well,
he was fired before then.
But yeah, so
that's a tough run of games.
It really is a tough run.
And I understand you didn't get a win out of it.
Yep.
But a lot of those results you got to be looking at and being happy. You got a result against United, a result against Newcastle, a result against Brighton and Brentford and Liverpool. Almost got a result against City. City needed a pen.
A lot of this is also without Zaha too. Zaha didn't come back until the Villa match. And I don't really care for Zaha. I don't really care for his attitude, but he is a quality player. And he almost scored against Villa. It was called offsides. He almost scored against Arsenal once or twice. I know he hit the post.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, he had a couple.
And he had that one where he just dragged it wide of going for the far post. So really, you're missing that key piece is a problem. Because
you are. That Arsenal match, at no point did Arsenal look like they were going to lose that match.
Yep.
But I think it's fair to say that Palace were a little hard done by the amount of goals.
Yeah.
Their expected goals are 0.78. I don't know. I don't think anyone's paying attention. Arsenal's expected goals is 1.57. I would have put Arsenal way above that. I would have put Palace way above that. I think that this game was a very open game.
Yeah.
Ramsdale seemed a bit off. It's one of those you're lucky. It was a little bit flattering of a scoreline. That's my overarching point.
I think it was an expected goals final. With the fact that Arsenal played so far forward, a lot of those direct runs behind kind of make sense. That's what I'm kind of understanding with Villa at this point too, is that they're pushing so far forward that the counterattack just happens sometimes. And it's just to be expected. But
well, and here's to make up with what you're talking about. They did not have a ton of shots. They had 9 shots.
Yeah.
They had 2 big chances. This is against Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
But something that I think is worth getting into is expected goals versus expected goals on target. They didn't have a lot of high quality shots from directly in front of net, which is where your expected goals come from.
Yep.
But the shots that they did take that went to the corners were very, very close. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. If it doesn't go in, it doesn't go in.
Right. Oh, well. It's just a bummer for Viera, and he did. He'll find somewhere else.
I think he's going to go back. What do you think?
I think a championship team was probably going to pick him up. There's still the French league somewhere. I'm sure somebody will pick him up.
I think he's going to go back to France. I think he's going to speak the language a bit. I think he's going to not. He doesn't speak the language a bit. I mean, like one of those resets. Go home.
Yeah.
He's been in England for a long time. He speaks English now, but there's something about going home to the language that you speak in. I think that, and I think that there's less expected of you. And this is the Premier League. If you don't perform in the Premier League, you're gone. Look at all the sackings we've had.
There's plenty of clubs, too, who would love to have that kind of experience of a player and manager kind of style. Like, I'm sure Toulouse would love to have somebody like that. Montpellier, maybe even somebody coming up from League Two.
The problem is he needs to find someone who's going to have backing.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem with the Crystal Palace job.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace, you're never going to make a squad out of nothing. Mm-hmm. But you're never going to have a great squad on paper.
It's always a stepping stone squad. I think that's how I feel about Crystal Palace.
And I think that's the perfect way to put it, which is why it's always so weird that Zaha's still there.
Yep. Like
he's going to be sold every summer. Yeah, at least every summer he's going to be sold, and he's not sold. Every summer, this is summer. This is it. I mean, for like 3 straight years in a row, he was going to go to Arsenal. He was going to be Arsenal's savior. 3 straight years in a row. Still plays in South London. It's.
Would you have liked Zaha on that team dynamic?
Depends on when. It depends on when, but yes, there are times. Honestly, if we had. I want to look something up real quick.
Sure. Because it's panned out, obviously, with Martinelli being as good as he is.
And that's why I said, when do we get him?
I know. And I figured that's where you were going with it. I
wish to God that instead of going to United in 2013, he came to us. Because if Arsene Wenger was able to nurture him the way he needed to be,
yeah,
I think we win the Prem over Leicester. We just needed a better goal scorer. That was the only thing that held us back that year. Mm-hmm. The only thing that held us back was we didn't have enough firepower in the final third. Mm-hmm. And I think that he would have done it. Now, that being said, most of the time when we were associated with him was after that, 16, 17, 18. And yeah, there were times, a lot of that time, Alexis Sanchez was doing the job that he would have been doing.
Yeah.
And then after Alexi left, we needed to go through the process that we've gone through, and spending money on him wouldn't have got us where we needed to be. Right. And right now, it might be nice to have that veteran presence, but Martinelli's sitting on 13 goals in the Prem. So, no, I'd rather have Martinelli.
Fair enough. I think.
And that's me being a businessman. My heart's like, Fast Gabby, which, by the way, this is how in the Albany Gooners we've decided to separate them. I'm very proud of this. It's my idea. Fast Gabby, Big Gabby, and Gabby Crystal. There you go. It takes a singer, but then it's hilarious, right? Fast Gabby's Arsenal till he dies. I mean, he was talking about, like, in the World Cup, just give me a pen, I'll sign an extension.
Yeah.
And what he can do and the way he's grown, I think everyone forgets how young he is. I don't think that he gets us anything this year. Zaha doesn't get us anything this year over what Gabby's done.
Yeah,
I think we would have been a better team.
I don't even think that, because Zaha has been out multiple times. So what's the point of?
He is a little injury prone. Oh my God! You know how much he would have been out before Arsenal fixed their whole physio?
A lot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that would have been bad.
I look for a player who doesn't get injured. Your best attribute is being on the field. I mean,
that's one of the reasons. No, I 100% agree with you. We talk about this in baseball all the time too. That's a great point. What's worth more to you, the guy who has a 1 ERA but he'll pitch 150 innings, or the guy with the 3 ERA who will pitch 300 innings? You got to put him out all the time.
Yep.
If you're slightly above average and you're never hurt, you're a better player than the guy who's a beast but hurt all the time. It's absolutely true.
Yep. All right.
And I think that's a very good point. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Saka's so good, because Saka's never injured.
Well, yeah.
You know?
It also helps to be super youthful.
True. And the injuries may come, but the stuff that Saka can do physically, not to turn this into an Arsenal podcast, but the stuff that Saka can do physically reminds me very much of what Walcott could do. But Walcott spent more time in the physio than he ever did on the field.
That's so sad.
And I say that as a guy who absolutely loves Theo Walcott.
Yeah.
But
if you want,
in fact, when he scored against Spurs on the weekend, man.
Oh shit! Yeah.
That doesn't bring warmth to your heart.
Well, yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It was a good header too. He had to put a lot of power behind it, but it was good. No, wait.
No, his wasn't the header. His was the one where he poached one, fell down right in the middle of the box, and he just scooped it in.
Yep.
Just to scoop it in. Since we're talking about that game now,
yeah, might as well.
Let's get into. First of all, we'll talk about the match real quick.
Yes.
You haven't seen the highlights of the match? Go watch it. They're phenomenal.
Actually, there was a couple matches this weekend. This one was one, and then I can't remember if I had said that the Wolves Leeds game too. Do you recall me saying that one?
Yes.
I think it was a true false.
That's why. I'm gonna have to pull that out of my butt. Had a very busy week.
I meant to. Sorry, I should have said something.
It's okay. I'll come up with it.
I'm sure you will.
Focus. We're doing the Spurs match.
Okay.
Richarlison came off after 5 minutes due to injury.
Sad.
Which was followed up by Bella Kotchap of Southampton coming off after 8, and then young Bednarek. Yeah, Bednarek coming off after 34, and then Ben Davies coming off after 37, all due to injuries.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, that was a weird first half.
It was. Porro opened up the scoring in stoppage time in the first half.
I thought the roof of the net was going to tear off when he smashed that. It absolutely.
God, those are so much fun, aren't they?
Yes. I love when a player smashes it in the back of the net. It gets me going.
It does. It's like a bar down in hockey. It just, Oh God, it's such a good feeling. Anyway, Shea Adams immediately opens up the second half with an assist from Walcott.
No, they were still sleeping. Spurs.
20 minutes later, Harry Kane header off a. Yep. I mean, that's what he does. That's what he does. I don't understand how he finds the space.
To be fair, this was a very good cross into the box by Kulusevski. Oh my God, the depth on that ball too. It was so good. And Harry Kane did
I just got one of my true falses, and there's absolutely no way that you have this, so I'm not even gonna worry about it.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Perisic gets one in the 74th. Theo Walcott 3 minutes later. And then in stoppage time, off a penalty, was it a pen in your eyes?
Oh my God, I forgot what happened. I forgot what the pen was.
Sarr kicked. Forget who he kicked, but kicked trying to play the ball, kicked a Southampton player in the back. Like hit him right in the side of the hip.
Right. Man. At first I said no because I'm a defender and I don't want it to be. But it was a high boot. And what are you
I don't understand how it's not.
Why are you swinging so recklessly like that too?
It's not even that reckless. If we take it out of the penalty box and that play happens at midfield, do you give a free kick?
Yeah, probably.
100% of the time, you don't even think about it.
Yeah.
You don't, and that's supposed to be the criteria. The box isn't supposed to change anything.
But
And when I see him kick out like that, people say that's not a pen. And it's like, okay, but is it a foul? Well, yeah. Then how is it not a pen? You know what I mean? Like, and that's my thing. I don't know where most of the controversy is coming from with this call.
I think it was because he made such minimal contact with him. That's what the commentators were stating, and when the replays were being shown, it didn't look like he actually made that much contact, or if contact at all. And
he made contact.
But
I don't even want to hear that. He made contact.
You want to take your blinders off?
He did, though. It's a foul. It's a foul, and it's a foul in the box. Ergo, it's a pen.
But that was what they were.
Don't get me started on handballs. I don't know what a handball is.
I don't. Such a gross situation.
Yeah. James Ward-Prowse comes up. Apparently, he had missed his last two.
Yes, he did.
He did not miss this one.
Oh, my God. And he faced his former teammate, too, Fraser Foster.
Yeah.
Fraser Foster just right, and he just put enough power into it.
Yep. Ends up 3-3, full-time. Spurs drop more points. Southampton gets a point. Still in 20th, but better than not having that point. Could be worth a lot.
Yeah. And the goal differential, too.
I'm glad you brought up goal differential. This is something I think is very interesting.
Yeah.
Have you seen the goal differential? All right, so the goal differential at the bottom and the top is just all over the place.
I have not.
By the way, Leicester City are now 17th. They are 1 point above. They are 2 points above bottom.
Tough.
1 point in safety.
Tough.
Leicester City have -9. West Ham have -10. Bournemouth have -29.
That's a team that you would peg to be in 20th right now.
Leeds have -9. Everton have -18. Wolves have -19. They're all above. The other thing's the top half of the table. Arsenal, 40.
Yeah.
City with a match in hand, and it's City, so it's not as close as it looks necessarily on paper. City with 42. And then United have 6. Even if you take away that Liverpool game, United would still, if they drew 0-0, United would still only have 13.
Mm-hmm. They'd still have less than Newcastle, who has 20.
Yeah, and Spurs have 12. Liverpool have 18. Mm-hmm. Although, you know what's very funny about that? If you take away the 9-0 against Bournemouth and the 7-0 against United, and then you look at what their number is, it's 2. It's 2.
Oh, shoot. Yes, it would be.
That's insane. Like, the goal difference, that's the last. I do not want to see any more projections for a while on, well, this is where we would expect them to be based on goal difference, because the table's like flopped.
It's a fun season, guys. Admire it while you can.
It is a fun season. I want to get into what Conte said after the match, because like I said in the run-in, he tried to get fired.
There's still a chance today he could get fired. They were making the decision today.
He says, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to discuss about the penalty. It wasn't a penalty for me, but that's not the point. Starting the quote, the worst situation is what was happening on the pitch, what has been happening in the last few months, what's happening in this, my second season. I think that it's the right moment to speak, because I think that after this performance, for me, this is unacceptable. We were winning 3-1. We conceded 2 goals. Because the problem for me is that another team we showed that we are not a team. English is not his first language. What he's trying to say is, I have selfish players.
Yeah. Which he says sort of again later.
I mean, to be a team, that's the most important thing. So he's got that down. I'm trying to get into the meat of what he actually said here.
Yeah, it was like a 3-4 minute rant too. It was awesome. I just had a little bit of it up too.
All right, here it is. when asked what is happening or why is it happening, he said, why? I don't know because they are used. Oh, I don't know because they are used to it here.
Mhm.
They are used to it here. They don't play for something important. They don't play under pressure. They don't want to play under stress. It is easy in this way. Spurs' story is this. 20 years there's an owner and they never won something. But why? The fault is only for the club or for every manager that stays here. I have seen the managers that Spurs had on the bench. You risk to disrupt the figure of the manager and to protect the other situation in every moment. And now, until now, I try to hide the situation, but no, because I repeat, I don't want to see what I have seen today because it's unacceptable. I want to see fire, and that's not what I have seen. It is different. I said I want to see fire in their eyes. I want to see fire in their hearts. I want to see the right spirit. Basically, he's saying you cannot win with these people.
The fire bit was another pundit asked.
Yeah, you saw fire last week. What changed? And he said no.
No, I
want to
said
see
I wanted
fire.
to see fire. Yeah, he's like, don't put words in my mouth. Pretty much. He's not wrong though. He's 100% right. It took him to finally say it. Though.
If I speak, I am in trouble. But yes, what Spurs is experiencing right now is what every Arsenal fan was worried about with the Cronkies, that we were just going to become this club that, hey, as long as we're in the top half and making Premier League money, it's whatever.
Yeah.
And I understand that Spurs got to a Champions League final. I mean, it was several years ago now.
Has it? Seriously?
It was, they won it was against Liverpool. No, 29, maybe 20. Yeah, it was 18-19 because the year after Liverpool won the Prem, right? And that was 19-20.
Okay.
But we're coming up on, I mean, it's several. You can say several years for that.
Oh, it is 2019.
Yeah, 2019 final.
I was guessing. It just felt right. Good for him for having the cojones to sit up on that podium and say what everybody is thinking. And that sort of guts will get you fired, unfortunately, even though they're sitting in fourth, because you don't blast the owners. But he's also,
people have been talking about him getting fired anyway.
The problem,
I think he knows it's over.
The problem, well, because his contract is ending anyway. At the end of the summer, his contract's done, so it doesn't.
This is also Daniel Levy, who fired Jose Mourinho 2 days before an EFL final against City or whatever.
The problem is out of the last three coaches that they've hired or had managers, Conte has been given the most money for spending. I think it was like 189 million or something like that. And to show that they're in fourth place, I guess, is a problem.
Again, managers do not buy players anymore.
I understand that, but
there are technical directors. But if you don't get the right guys, you don't get the right guys. It's seamless when it works and it looks like magic. And when it doesn't work, it's chaos.
So it's an organizational thing they have.
Which is what he's saying. You know what it sounded like to me? Go back to baseball. Baseball season's almost here. World Baseball Classic was last night. So my mind's on baseball a lot, even with Arsenal in the position it's in. But there's that scene in Moneyball, and I don't know if this is actually how it went down, but it's a beautiful scene in Moneyball, and the idea behind it is true. When he's trying to get Billy Beane's trying to get Art Howe to play the players that he wants to play in the position he wants to play in, which was going against baseball. Baseball rhetoric at the time, and he finally asked Art, "What are you doing?" And he's saying, "I'm managing this team in a way that I can defend in job interviews next winter." That's kind of what this felt like to me from Conte. It kind of felt like a gigantic, guys, this isn't my fault. And I don't. I think that there's a lot of truth to it.
Sure.
Yeah, you can have. I mean, we look at all the money we spent. You bought Emerson Royale.
Well, they bought Kulusevski. They bought.
And Kulusevski has been very good in the season. They would probably have a better goal difference and probably have a tighter stranglehold on third if he wasn't injured in the beginning of the season.
The heck, who else did they buy? I know they bought a kid. It's Pepe Matar Sarr. Didn't they bring in?
The guy who gave away the pen. Yes, yeah. Who talk about getting the wrong Argentinian. And I mean this both ways. Their defense is dire. Like he is their only defense.
Yeah.
That I trust with any kind of consistency, and that's not good.
Nope.
Especially when you're trying to play a Conte way of playing.
They brought in. Remember they brought in Danjuma?
Yeah, you know who else you're forgetting?
I said Pedro Porro already. I was kind of mumbling it as you were saying under your breath.
Big name. Big name. We talked about him already today, not on the pod.
Fraser Foster.
Nope.
Oh.
I'll give you a hint. This many goals.
Oh, Charlison. So
he
memorable.
Cost 60 million. He cost 60 million.
That's because he's memorable. And
he's got no Brazilian. Goals, one yellow card.
He's Brazilian.
And a beef with the manager. He's had more beefs with the manager than he's had goals.
Maybe Watford was right. He used to play for Watford. Do you remember that?
No. Forget about a lot. Everyone either used to manage or used to play Watford.
Yeah,
interesting stat. 25% of all managers in the Prem right now used to manage Watford. Watford, you screwing up.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing it wrong.
It's funny. Anyway.
Right. That's enough Spurs talk. Pochettino is probably going to come back. It still hasn't been announced, but I don't understand how it doesn't happen.
As a coach,
Rebecca Lowe seems to say don't do it.
Well, who do
you fired him.
No, who do you go and get? No, I was going to he's probably the best available coach out there, right?
Depends what you mean by available. I'd go get the guy from Reims.
So they could pay the fine?
You're not going to, no one of quality is going to go there right now. And on top of that, look at what you've done to Poch, what you've done to Nunez, what you've done to Mourinho, and what you've done to Conte. Now, two of those guys don't necessarily have the same pedigree that the other two do.
Okay, yeah.
But I think we can agree that all four of them are good managers. Some great managers.
Yep.
I do not like Jose Mourinho. He has coached my three least favorite teams and usually done very well with them.
It's true.
But if all four of those guys can't get you a trophy, it's you. They got to sit down and they got to get a bottle of wine. This is what Dan Levy needs to do. He needs to sit down with a bottle of wine and a bubble bath, and he needs to play some Taylor Swift. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Because you're the last guy, dude. You are the last guy. Harry Kane is going to be the best goal scorer in Premier League history, and he will win nothing because he's going to spend his entire career with you.
Allegedly.
That's on you.
Yeah.
And I say that as a guy who doesn't like Harry Kane that much. That's awful.
All right.
No Spurs talk. Sick of Spurs.
We're done here.
Who do you want to talk about now?
Oh, my God. Let's talk about Leeds. I liked that game a lot, too.
It's the American in us. It's also a cracker of a match. These relegation matches can be so much fun.
This one was fun.
Game right out the gate. Right out the gate with Jack Harrison.
Heck yeah, that was a smashing. The Nianto is a very good player. when he's healthy. Again, has that same problem. He's very much a body on body kind of person, winger. So he's liable to pick up those kind of injuries. But man, is he quick with the ball? It sticks to his feet. And when he gets to the byline, be careful, because if you got runners trailing in the box, there's a possibility of that goal happening.
I thought this was a very well played game because Tyler Adams is out till mid-April.
Yes, he is.
And that's bad.
Yeah.
But one thing that is happening is Aronson is finally playing where I want him to be playing at Leeds. And you're seeing benefits.
I was going to say, he looked pretty decent. He made a couple of errors. There was a ball right at the end of the first half where I think it was a quick give and go with Patrick Bamford, and Bamford was looking for the return, and Aronson went and took the shot instead. And I get Bamford's problem, but you also haven't been in the club for very long.
And Aronson hasn't been playing. That's a amount of playing issue.
Yes, that's where.
And don't get me wrong. I don't think Aronson's the best center attacking mid.
No.
In the Prem, but I think he's the best who plays for Leeds United. And you got to play your best players in the best positions.
I think the only person who would supplant him might be Rodrigo, but they could be playing a 4-4-2 at that point. So, but he's also injured a bunch.
Rodrigo he's injured a bunch. He's the wrong side of 30. And you want to talk about the ability to make a stupid mistake? Yeah, he's 32.
I had no idea. The guy looks like he's 27.
He plays like he's 22.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, from a mental standpoint, he plays like he never grew up. He never grew into the mental side of the game.
Agreed.
I think Harrison looked great up on the right wing.
Yep.
If Leeds can play like this, I mean, McKennie's still not really doing it.
He's been more of an enforcer than an actual facilitator. One
of these days, everyone's going to finally agree on what Weston McKennie's position is.
I doubt it. So this game got wild, too. Did you get to watch this game, or did you see highlights?
I saw highlights.
Okay. So,
I did see this highlight, though.
Oh, the Johnny. But we'll lead up to that because Leeds actually got up 3-0.
Yep.
With a Luke Ayling header, who I can't stand him. He's probably the worst Leeds player. And
really?
I hate him.
Did you already forget that Bamford plays for Leeds?
Yes.
Oh, man, you hate Bamford. Damn, I didn't realize you hated Ayling this much.
They are interchangeable for me. They really are. I can't stand either of them. And then Rasmus Christensen, 20 seconds being subbed on, scores a goal. Fantastic. I loved it. 3 minutes later, at Wolves, Meslier comes out from a through ball, essentially, and he has to clear it with his header because it was an over the top. And it was poorly facilitated by Leeds, and Johnny just said, I'm feeling it from 40 yards out, and boots it in, up over. And then not that long after, Matthias Cunha makes it 3-2, which is, you think of this team has a life. They really could have. But Johnny, poor Johnny, the guy just went in so bad. It was such a, I guess if now's the time to talk about reckless, I think that's it right there. He just over dribbled and tried to get the ball, and he outstretched. What
he did is what you were blaming Viera. Was that his name?
Hold on.
The Brentford guy.
I know. I just have to think of his name. It's. Keep talking.
It starts with a V. I think it's Viera. But anyway, what he did is what you thought the other guy did. This is a straight over dribble, going way too hard. Yeah, and it's also the fact of there is a certain amount of severity with a challenge that you're not going to get away with it.
No, this was high on the shin.
I'm very surprised it wasn't a red on the field.
I don't think the ref was in a good position in order to see how bad it was. But I know I'm bailing out the officiators here, the officials here. But I mean, that's what the VAR is for. This was a good implementation of VAR. I also think if Johnny didn't get a red card, that Wolves could have come back and won. That's how threatening they looked. When Traore got subbed on, it was a completely different team. And unfortunately, that guy, I think, is only good coming off the bench because of how much pace he has. The guy's so fast.
Yeah, he's so
big.
But he's
the problem
so fast.
is the final third. And his final third is bad. He hasn't figured that piece out yet.
No,
I think it's probably too much baby oil, to be honest.
I think he's top heavy. I think that's the issue. Can't find his balance.
Oh man, but that game was a really good match. Leeds eventually saw it out and scored, which was also a controversial goal. This one, towards the end of the match there, where Traore actually had the ball and he was able to, I think he was receiving a pass and he didn't collect it so well, but he was still able to, he was heading back towards Wolves' goal and he got his jersey pulled and you could clearly see the jersey pull. Whistle didn't blow. Leeds went on, scored. Went to VAR again. And all the commentators are both commentators are this is going to get called back. You can clearly see the jersey being pulled. There's enough in that, blah, blah, blah. And the match official comes out. Goal. And I'm thinking to myself, how does I get it. You're Adama Traore. You got your jersey pulled. You're massive. And maybe that's the thought process. This is what the officiator is thinking. But it's a foul.
He also he stopped. He stopped and stood there for it. Doesn't matter. You play to the whistle. It's the first thing they teach you. Now, was it a foul? Yes, it was a foul. It was a hell of a lot more of a foul than a lot of BS VAR foul and build-up calls I see.
Yeah.
But he stopped playing, and I think that's on him. And Traore does that for as big as he is and as fast as he is, he gives up on things really easily.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other problem with his game. He'll go down really easy, and it almost doesn't make sense in your brain when he does it.
Yep.
Because he's this huge hulking guy. And he'll just die. And it like that's I got my jersey pulled. You play till the ref blows a whistle. Now, all of that being said, that was a foul, VAR. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully in the end, it might make a difference with goal difference. If a team stays up if Leeds stay up on goal difference and it's by 1.
It's literally this match right here. That's what it is.
And it's hard. That's hard to say because Leeds could argue that they were hard done and should have had an extra point against Arsenal. Mm-hmm. And then you go back and you do all that BS and who the hell knows. Bournemouth should have one less goal because they should have had a penalty against them in the Villa match.
Yep.
So it's hard to say it'll be 1, but that is the type of thing where it's not like, it's a nothing goal. They weren't going to win anyway. It's like, no, every goal does matter.
Yes.
And that was a foul. And I think it has to come down to it wasn't a clear and obvious error instead of is it or is it not a foul? Because you and I are saying that's a foul.
Yep.
But, he didn't miss it in a clear and obvious way. And it's like, but it's a foul.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't know.
We are 45 minutes in. If we did not have a chance to talk about your favorite team, we are sorry.
Oh, that's okay. If you want to listen to more, I have the Villa, and you should take a listen. We talk about
Should take a listen.
match day.
Talk about Sevilla.
No. We talk about the West Ham match, and we talk about this last match we played against Bournemouth. So check us out on the Wicked Good Sport and see us there.
I want to commend you for how well you handled that West Ham match, because I would have been throwing stuff.
I was a little furious, but I got over it because I think a 1-1 draw actually made a lot of sense. I just didn't like how the 1-1 draw went. Let's put it that way.
Sure. It's a very adult way of looking at it.
Thanks.
And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All I can say is that was not a penalty. You can eat me.
That's what I explained.
All right. I want to move on to a brand new segment before we get into our other segment, because I don't know how long this segment's going to take. I don't know anything about the segment. I don't know the team. I don't know the player. I don't even know if it's a player. It could be a manager. I have no idea. But Aaron is putting together a new segment for us, and it's called Same Face, New Place. Which, by the way, if anyone is here from the Way West Stand, I totally screwed up the name of it yesterday or today. These are coming out on the same day. Totally screwed up the name of it. Don't worry about that. It is Same Face, New Place. And correct me once I start to get off the rails here, but I believe that this is about a player that could be helping his team if he played in a different position.
I'm going to go with it's going to be a different player that helps the club. So transfer in. Okay,
so new face, new place, not same face, new place.
Well, I mean, it could be the same face.
That opens up a whole can of worms, man. All right, whatever. Let's get into it.
Okay. So
what does your team need? Therapist Aaron is here.
Yes. I have glasses for this. We actually last time teased Chelsea, so I'm going to stick with Chelsea.
And yeah, it's Romelu Lukaku. They already did it.
Well, they're going to sell.
And that's same face, new place, everybody. It actually is the same face.
Yes, it is.
Now, who do you think?
I'm thinking this player is from Italy. He's from Napoli. Victor Osimhen. The guy is a scoring machine. I think he does a lot of things that Lukaku does, but younger. He's big. He does headers. He runs direct. And Chelsea from what I see from Chelsea, they send a lot of crosses in, and they run a lot of direct. They run a lot of counter. They don't. Then it's not that they don't hold possession well, but they definitely look to do a fluid counterattack versus like a Arsenal or a City kind of style, you know? He actually this season has, in Serie A, 21 goals, 4 assists. That's kind of the knock on him, is that his passing isn't so great. But honestly, Chelsea have enough passing ability, technical players to be able to cover that up anyway. This player is, have similar comps to Moussa Dembele, Erling Haaland, Patrick Schick.
So to give everyone an idea, he has 21 goals and 4 assists in 23 matches.
Yeah.
That's a direct goal involvement more than once a match.
Yep. He's got 4 goals.
24. He's a 24-year-old Nigerian.
Yep. He's in 5 matches in Champions League this year. He's got 4 goals, no assists. So he's obviously got the Champions League experience.
Which you don't need to be at Chelsea next year.
Well, that's true. I just think this guy would fit well with that system that they have. I also think that he could fit well for Man United as well if they don't get Harry Kane. So there's
that's an interesting thought. I have two issues with this. One, everyone's trying to pick over Napoli's bones already, and I don't know if it's going to be as easy as people think it's going to be.
I think
And
because Chelsea's willing to spend, they already threw a $120 million price tag. And that's probably what I don't think they'll get them a 120. They'll probably get like 90 plus, you know.
Two, if Chelsea can spend that much money on this player in the summer transfer window, then God is dead. And Todd Bowley killed him.
With sacks of money.
Because that should not be possible. However, that being said, I do agree with you. I think he'd be a perfect fit.
They have enough money. They have enough players, surplus in players, that they won't necessarily be able to cover how much
they're not going to get the money. They're not. No one at Chelsea, to say nothing of the fact that everyone knows that Chelsea has to give it up. Because Chelsea does have to give it up.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So people are going to go pick over their bones because we don't have to pay you a ton of money. Like, you need to sell this player. You need these wages off your books. On top of that, no one's performing that well. And everyone who is performing well, they don't want to sell.
So here's the list of players I would sell. You've got Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I know.
Not going to sell for them. Unless he goes to an English team and you have to pay the English tax, it's not going to sell for that much.
He'll sell for 20, 25. I understand that it's a drop in the bucket for $450 million, but money's money and wages are gone. Conor Gallagher, 611. Conor Gallagher will probably walk. We'll probably sell him.
He just got there.
Conor Gallagher's an academy player.
What's screwing him up with?
I don't know. He went to Crystal Palace for a loan.
Maybe that's what I'm screwing him up with.
He had another loan a little bit before that.
Yeah. Okay.
Mason Mount, they'll sell him.
Always injured. Injured right now.
Well, they'll sell him. Let's see. Lukaku, they'll probably sell.
Who's going to take him?
Allegedly Villa's got ties with him, but I don't like that. So, shoot.
You don't even want him. Who's going to pay money for him? Who's going to pay money for him?
Some MLS club. There, you happy? Or Turkish.
No, that's not a lot. I mean, I am happy because that's not a lot of money.
Probably a Turkish team. Like Tansaspor or Beşiktaş or...
Yeah, I totally forgot that Gallagher was a loan to Palace last year. That was my issue.
Who else can they sell? Ariza Balaga. He actually has had a good showing this year, so he'll probably... I mean, he's obviously not going to sell for the release clause that they bought him for. Or was it a release clause?
All right, who's their goalie next year?
Mendy.
And who backs up Mendy?
I don't know. You get a loan from somebody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for how bloated their squad is to have your goalies be a 31-year-old, I'm off and on again injured Benjamin Mendy and a loanee from somewhere. That's that's scary.
They'll sort it out. Who else do you get?
Chilwell's gone?
No, they keep Chilwell. He's way too important for that defense. Yes, I know.
Chilwell, Cucurella, James, Fofana.
Thiago.
You're going to keep all of them?
You loan out Cucurella.
You bought him for $80 million. Oh my God, this team is like Bizarro Land. This team is like the kid who got the financial takeover thing in FIFA and just went,
this is neat.
I don't like his hair. I don't like the way his hair plays on FIFA. I'm going to get rid of him.
No, but really, they'll probably loan him out.
I wouldn't.
That's not the...
He's a 24-year-old Spaniard who has played well under Potter before. If you're going to stick with Potter, you keep Cucurella. You know who you should? And this, people are going to say I'm crazy.
Reece James.
But Chelsea's in a transition, and you will get money for Reece James. Reece James is a player that a lot of people want.
Yeah, no, he's a really good player. He's better than Trent Alexander-Arnold, that's for sure.
Honestly, if Reece James wasn't injured during the World Cup, I honestly don't know how far England goes. Like, yeah, he's that kind of player for me.
No, I don't disagree with that. He's a really good player. He's creative. He goes forward. He actually plays defense. Really
bodies, yes, he can really drop in. We talk about how Zinchenko goes in like that center attacking mid all the time, or like that. He does the exact same thing in more defensive. He's more of the pivot guy, but still, he's smart.
No, I totally.
He can overlap as well as Ben White. He can overlap better than Ben White at times, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But then he can also play that pivot point. Like I know everyone goes, no, I don't want to get rid of him, but I think he's going to be great. I think the other thing you do is I think you sell N'Golo Conte. You just bought Enzo Fernandez for how much money? Conte's too old. Well, you are not winning anything next year. You got to understand that.
That was my problem when they signed back Silva. Thiago Silva?
Yes, but it worked out because Thiago Silva was like the entirety of their defense for the first half of the year.
Yeah, but again, they went and got Badiashile. They have...
but it didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
Kovacic needs to go.
I've seen that he's been rumored for Chelsea. So that's interesting.
I think Ziyech needs to go.
City.
Kovacic to City. Okay.
He only needs to play 60 minutes, and that's what
Pulisic needs to go.
I agree with that.
No, and not from I don't think Pulisic is doing well. Pulisic needs to go where he's going to get minutes. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And I don't think he is not top dog Premier League ready.
No.
I think Pulisic is just as good as Adams. And I think that that's a compliment to them both because I think they're both very good players, but they both belong on a team like Leeds.
Yep. I think
maybe
Pulisic
better.
Could be better. I think Fulham wouldn't be a bad landing spot, honestly.
Brentford, Brighton, Fulham.
Where I was going with that, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe
those
even
types of teams.
Newcastle.
If Newcastle keep Eddie Howe, which they should.
Yeah, of course.
Don't get Pulisic.
I say that
Pulisic is not a Howe player.
It's true, but the thing is Alan St. Maximin can cover for when Pulisic is injured and vice versa.
Yeah, but Pulisic would be injured all the time. Pulisic would be injured literally all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to my favorite segment, True False.
Heck yeah.
I think, who went first last time? You or me?
I believe I did.
All right, so here's mine. And I say mine because I got to come up with the other two. I'm trying to buy a house, man. I'll come up with the other two on the fly. I'm very good at that. I came up with this one on the fly.
Yes, you did.
Are you ready?
Hit me, boss man.
The best player on Spurs is Harry Kane. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. The second best player on Spurs, even though he's having a down year, is Heung-min Son. Also don't think that's a crazy thing to say. True false.
I was
the third best player on Spurs is Kulusevski.
False because it's Dyer.
I don't think Dyer's that good.
Yeah, but he's the one that's holding all the glue together for that defense. And he actually is a good goal. He's a good heading attacking player when they need him on set pieces. Option.
So I think what Dyer is benefiting from is the same thing that other center backs hurt from, which is when you're the last guy in defense and a goal gets scored, why didn't you stop him? I think there are so many times where other players get caught out in front of him and guys end up with balls that they shouldn't, and then he comes in and takes it away, and everyone's like, oh my God, Dyer, man. Oh, that's good. No, maybe not. Maybe not. It's true, false. It was your true, false. You said false. I don't have an argument with that. It's fine. I think Kulu is the third best. And I know Spurs fans who would say that. But I think the bigger question is, why is Kulusevski or Dyer your third best player as opposed to the other.
Yeah. Yep.
And with that, I just got my second true false. I can do this.
Bro, you're on a roll. Love it.
Anyway, what do you got for me?
All right. True false here. Florian. I'm not going to try to pronounce
Balogun.
Sure, we'll go with that. The next
That's it.
United States striker will be sold in the summer by Arsenal.
No, false. 100%.
We
get rid of Eddie. We get rid of Eddie before we get rid of him. No, we're going to capitalize on him. We're going to capitalize on him by playing in the Prem. He's William Saliba 2.0. Go get good in France, baby. Then come home.
The Farmers League.
I'm serious. No, like seriously, we've talked about this. The Albany Gooners have talked about this a lot. We're going to have a little bit of a embarrassment of riches next year at striker, which sounds super weird to say. Eddie's the guy who would go.
So you loan him out to the Farmers League?
Maybe. Honestly, I think if Eddie goes, he's a sell. He's a sale. I don't know necessarily that we actually get rid of any of them. I think between Eddie's ability to poach, Jesus' ability to play off the ball, and I love him so much, but also kind of get injured, and Florian's ability to do everything. Plus next year, even if Arsenal do not win the Prem this year, which could very, very easily happen. I'm not saying we're winning the Prem. In fact, knock on all that wood. Next year, Arsenal are going to have a decent chance for the EFL Cup, the FA Cup, the Premier League, and they're going to be playing in the Champions League. I mean, I don't even know. It's not mathematically impossible for Arsenal to not play in the Champions League next year, but we're getting to that point.
Yeah.
Like top 4 is a foregone conclusion now. Knock on wood. Please don't let a plane crash or anything like that. But my point is, we're going to be in 4 top-level competitions next year. It's going to be the same thing that City goes through, and we're going to want the depth, and there's going to be the minutes. Everyone's saying Tierney's gone. Tierney might be gone. If Tierney says that he's done and he wants to leave, that's his prerogative. He can do what he wants. Mm-hmm. But there will be more minutes for him next year. Easily. And that's why I don't think we sell Balogun either. I think we keep him. I think we keep all of them. I think there's minutes for everybody.
That's fair.
I think that we rotate more in the Prem. Our biggest problem this year has been rotation, which is one of the things that I'm super happy about that we're done with. Obviously, I wanted to win Europa. I want to win every competition we're in, but I'm super glad that we're done with that because whenever we rotate squad, we're bad. Mm-hmm. And the rotation is hopefully, apart from injuries, going to be gone now. But we got to improve on that next year, and Balogun's going to do it.
To your point of you're almost mathematically – you guys are almost mathematically possible to have a Champions League no matter what. So there's 27 points left, and Tottenham's at 49, and they're 20 points away. So, 2 more wins. There's more than 27 points left. It's a little complicated because not everyone's on the same match. Arsenal has 10 matches to play, so that's 30. But what I'm saying is, I forget about Newcastle not playing too, and Brighton. Yeah, see, it's complicated. It's not done for yet, but it would take a drastic Arsenal loses every single match and one of those other teams wins. No, we need 2 of those other teams to win every single match, essentially. Yeah, that's what it would be a historic collapse. So again, not saying it's a foregone conclusion, but it kind of is. All right. All right, here's my second one. Are you ready? Yep. Ivan Toney's going to get suspended. Absolutely. Erling Haaland sits at 28 goals. Harry Kane sits at 21. Yeah. Tony sits at 16 and third. Yep. 4th is Marcus Rashford. 5th is Gabriel Martinelli. Mm-hmm. When this season's over, Gabriel Martinelli has the 3rd most goals in the Premier League. So he has to pass. He's got to pass. 1 on Rashford. He's 1 behind Rashford, and he's 3 behind Tony. We're assuming Tony's going to get suspended. I don't know who I gotta. I'm not gonna do any research. You know what? I'm gonna say this is false.
Okay.
Both. I think that it could be a tie between Rashford and Martinelli, which is still saying a lot, to be honest. Both have been scoring a lot and frequent.
Well, Marcus Rashford, I'm in the running for the Ballon d'Or somehow. Yeah.
He's in the running for the Ballon d'Or, and Ivan Toney has more goals than him. So humor that.
One of them bet on games and one of them didn't.
Maybe one should bet on
one of them's the right kind of British. I don't know. Well, no, honestly, yes. One of them is the right kind of British. It's the kind of British that plays for upstart small town team that isn't supposed to be here and Manchester United.
Okay, fair enough. But
that's the way it is.
It's not out of the possibility that Martinelli doesn't pass Rashford for third, but Arsenal also share the ball too much for goals. And it's not even a bad thing too much, I'm saying. Goals come from a lot of places, so the possibility.
Yeah, no, I think I shared this earlier in the group. It was the difference between first and second goal scorers. Yeah. And Arsenal's is 1. I mean, to give an idea, and I easily could have put this as Saka. Gabriel Martinelli has 13. Directly behind him is Saka at 12.
Yeah.
And he gets more. He's the one who takes penalties. Mm-hmm. 2 of his are penalty goals. Martinelli has no penalty goals. And then in 11th with 10 is Martin Odegaard. So, yeah, I agree. We share the goals a lot. So, you're making – God, you know when you yawn? You know when you yawn and someone else has to yawn? We just do that with burps.
Oh, no.
Weird is that? I mean, I think it was more coincidence than anything, but it happened. Anyway, hit me with your third.
All right. Aston Villa will qualify for Europe this year. Yeah.
How far down does Conference League go?
I think it's so is it 7th or 8th? Hold on.
Oh man.
No. Go away. I wish they had this out better. You know, I don't really know. Let's see. Top 4 and 5th is.
That's Europa League.
Yeah, you
Conference League playoff place will go to the next highest ranked team that doesn't. So Conference League goes to. That's tough. It's complicated. It could be as high as 6.
Oof. If everything shakes out the way that it's a weird. Conference League is weird.
The Carabao Cup winners finish in the top 5 of the Premier League. To finish 6th in the above scenario happens to go into the Europa League. Wow, this is complicated.
You know what?
The team finishing 7th in the Premier League will therefore go into the next season's Europa's Conference League. Okay, got that. That's in 7th. All right, so you are equal with Chelsea on points.
Yep.
You are 1 behind Fulham. You are 1 behind. You are 4 behind Brentford.
Yep.
You are 4 behind Brighton. Yeah. It's false, and the only reason why it's false is because Brighton has 2 games in hand. That being said, if you had said, no, they played 25, you guys have played 27.
2. I was looking at the wrong line.
That being said, if you would put it as Villa goes to Europe next year, true.
I think so.
And I think and honestly, I'm not trying to placate you and make you happy because you're my friend. The trajectory that Villa has found themselves on after the whole Gerrard thing, they got to be kicking themselves for not getting Gerrard sooner. Because if they got rid of Gerrard sooner, I think they would be in a Conference League spot.
Bro, not even Conference League spot. Since Gerrard has taken over, since Gerrard has been canned,
Yui
has stepped in, they would be sitting in third right now. That's how many points they've gotten.
Yeah, that's a little bit disingenuous because who have you played before and after? We don't have to get into that. We don't have the time for it. But my point is, yes, there's a good chance you'd be playing for Europe right now. Yeah. Like Europa. That's what I meant. Europa. You are playing for Europe.
For Europe. Do you have another one? Because I have two if you need another. I have, what I'm saying is
you
I
can't
have
answer
another
your own. You cannot answer your own. That is BS. I had one, but then I'm pretty sure I asked you something very similar to that last time.
Oh, okay.
So now
Oh, don't be so sad.
David Moyes, true or false, David Moyes gets fired before the end of the season.
Sick. And yes. True.
Okay.
There's no way you can hang around this to the bottom this long.
Imagine the scenes when Jesse Marsch takes over and keeps West Ham up. No, that's my thing. Who do you get?
London will go crazy.
Yeah.
The bubbles will be everywhere. It'll be a giant bubble farm and wherever they are in London. I don't know.
There has been they're in East London. West Ham's in East London.
Oh, I
remember. Don't ask me why, just the way it is. There is a Arsenal edit that's been going around the TikTok sphere and the Instagram sphere for a lot, and it's Arsenal. It's kind of corny, but I love it. It's Arsenal, but with the trailer to Endgame.
Yeah.
But my point is, it is March 22nd, and technically, unless you decide to do something before the next match day, it's April. It's April 1 is when we start back up. Maybe March 30th. There's a certain amount of we are in the end game now.
Yep.
And I don't know if now's when you bring in a new Palace sacking Viera to bring in Hodgson, and Hodgson being smart enough to say, I'll take the job after Arsenal. Those two things, that makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. I don't know if now is it doesn't make sense to do it now. Now, if your argument is what they're doing doesn't make sense, then yeah, I can't argue with that. But I don't rock the boat. Whatever course you're on, whatever trajectory your arrow is flying at, whatever you picked as your break line, whatever metaphor you want to use, you just got to commit because this is where you are right now. And I don't think a shakeup's going to necessarily do well unless you bring in the only guy I would bring in right now is Big Sam.
Or Tom Tuchel. But that's
I would not bring in Tuchel. I would not bring in Tuchel.
He's not going to be interested in going anyway, but that's not the point. I see your point.
Tuchel's also not the light the fire under your ass. You need that. You need a Sean Dyche.
Bielsa.
I'd take a Bielsa. I still think it's too little, too late, but I would take a Bielsa.
Yeah. If they would do it, they'd do it right now because then they get 2 weeks in order to figure something out.
Which is the other reason why Hodgson took it after the Arsenal match.
That made no sense. While my next one doesn't go very far because I'm also staying in West Ham.
All right.
West Ham win the Conference League, but they get relegated.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. I got to look up. Hold on. I have not been paying attention at all to the Conference League.
Who would? Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to lie to you. The only reason why I was obviously I paid attention to Arsenal's path in Europa League because it's Arsenal. Sure. But the rest of the Europa League, the only reason why I was ever paying attention to is because the teams that dropped were insane. Juventus and Barcelona, and just anyway.
Yep.
Let me find it real quick, and then I will tell you.
Okay.
The International Europa Conference League.
Hell yeah.
By the way, low key, it's funny, right? So, like, the Champions League is the Champions League, and everyone wants to win it.
Yeah.
Their logo looks kind of kiddish to me, and their song is just "We're the Champions" in 3 different.
Stop it.
Like, it is. Then you have the Europa League, which is all orange and looks off-brand, right? But then their song is fire. And then you have the Conference League, which I think actually has the best-looking logo out of all 3. But like, no, you don't want to be in this. You don't want to be in this. This is bad. Honestly, look at them. Look at them objectively. The Champions League logo is not that good. It's not. Now, obviously, I want to buy an Arsenal shirt with a Champions League patch on it. Damn it! Like, I'm not. I'm not pretending that part isn't true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. All right, let's see. They are okay. They're playing Ghent. They will play the winner of Anderlecht versus AZ. Then Nice versus Basel, and oh my god, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I did not know that oh my god, just how?
They're the best team there, personally.
They just beat Larnaca 6-0. Wow. If anyone thinks that the Premier League isn't the best league in the world, this right here. Our scraps beat the crap out of people. I'm gonna go with True.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna go with True, and this is the greatest thing of all time. Basel has a decent team.
Yes.
And quite honestly, even that, do not sleep on Fiorentina.
Yeah, OG Nice was the other one I was thinking that could possibly do it, but
then yeah, Nice could, but
I still think West Ham could pull that out too.
I think West Ham will. West Ham does not have a bad team at all.
No, they don't, but I can't see how they're not figuring this out.
All right, I will also put this. When you look at the side of the bracket that they're on, West Ham in the finals. Like, I think that's almost a given. That's crazy to me.
You're welcome. I thought that was I was thinking of that. I was like, oh my god, what if this happens? This would be incredible. Win a major trophy, air quotes around that, and get relegated.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. So we thinking of wrapping this up here?
Yep. This was supposed to be our nice, easy, quiet, quick. It's been our longest one yet, but we had fun doing it. And we're also making up for it because we are not doing one next week.
It's true.
It is a international break. We don't have anything going on. Quick recap of the FA Cup. It's probably going to be a Manchester final.
Whoa.
So there's that. But yeah, we are going to take next week off. I need a week.
Yes, you do.
So that's where we are with that. It's international break anyway. Arsenal is back April 1 against Leeds.
Fool's Day.
Does anyone?
Girls?
I don't even like the idea of April Fool's Day. Like, I'm in turnaround 3 times in spit mode every time I even talk about Arsenal. Does anyone play? No, April 1 starts it. Yeah. Manchester City, Liverpool, 7:30 a.m. Possibly injured Haaland.
Oh, it's a good thing I cashed out that bet early.
Liverpool is City's gotcha team. They're City's boogeyman.
Yeah.
If City's without Haaland. No, they already lost at Anfield. Remember that was that 1-0 crazy? If City, and I don't expect this to happen, but there's a world where City lose to Liverpool and Arsenal beat Leeds and go 11 points clear at the top. And I will cram my pants. I don't even know what I would lose my mind. I don't even know what I would do. I don't know if it's going to happen, but Oh my God, the breakdowns! You can tell it's International Break Week too. The breakdowns people are doing. Well, you see, if you extrapolate out what everyone's played against, it's like, oh my God, just stop.
Just live in the moment, guys.
It's silly season. Yeah, we will meet back with you the Thursday after April 1. So we will see you in April, unless anything happens. If at a certain point I am replaced by a lookalike who sounds slightly different and has much longer hair, that is because I have had my child, and Brian is filling in for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
then you guys get to listen
back
to
you
me
when I
more
can.
often. My scatterbrained thoughts. It'll be fun.
Yeah, you think this episode was crazy. If you are still listening, thank you very much for listening.
Yes, please. Thank you.
You are still here. Thank you very much for being here. If you are in the capital region of New York State, first of all, my condolences. Second of all, we drink beer together on the weekends at the beer garden, so you should come see us. You have anything else you want to add?
Nope.
All
Let's
right.
send it home. I'm ready for dinner.
Send it home. Let's go eat dinner. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Well, guys, that was an episode of Swinging at Shins. We appreciate you for coming out and listening to us. If you guys want to hear or see more, we have links in the description below. We hope to hear from you soon and hear more about what you have to say.